We all love old Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed, but what happened to them now? Why did Ubisoft become the object of ridicule and memes? And what do they need to do to earn the trust of their fans again? Let's figure it out. In the second half of the 2000s, Ubisoft turned from little known French experimenters into industry leaders. They experimented with platforms, plots, genres, and as it turned out, they succeeded in everything. Rayman 2 amazed with its bizarre world and musical atmosphere. Splinter Cell offered an amazing combination of stealth, realism, and graphics. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time created a feeling of a fairy tale where every jump and every scene caused awe. Then, in an era when large publishers preferred proven templates, Ubisoft went its own way. A few years passed, and they made the first Assassin's Creed. Yes, the first part was raw and buggy, but it was a statement that they could change genres, that they could create ambitious projects. And when Assassin's Creed came out, with Ezio, with Renaissance Italy, with Da Vinci and Intrigues, it was not just a breakthrough, it was a hammer blow. Ubisoft are no longer experimenters. Now they are a forge of ideas that makes their games maniacally big, beautiful, and with memorable characters. Far Cry 3 raised the open world standard, offering a bright villain, a strong soundtrack, and a truly atmospheric island. Success pressured them to develop further, but that very further came, which became the point of no return. At some point, they realized that their formulas work. Players are ready to buy games based on the open world template where there is reconnaissance from towers, clearing camps, collecting collectibles, and Ubisoft began to scale this recipe. Watch Dogs and Far Cry received a similar design. Ghost Recon Wildlands and Breakpoint followed the same path, but with co-op. Even the new Fantasy Immortals Phoenix Rising was perceived as a reimagined Assassin's Creed, with a similar map architecture, similar mission structures. They created a template that could be endlessly fermented. And marketing had everything. These templates looked like a successful conveyor. In terms of economic indicators, everything worked. Budgets paid off, microtransactions gave growth, content was released with a periodicity of growth. But it was when the formula began to increasingly copy and clone itself that Ubisoft lost that drive. Those emotions, that soul, they were turning into a corporation that produces products. And it was at this moment that scandals, dismissals, and the departure of leaders began. The story takes the form of a classic tragedy. Success becomes poison, cleansing the soul of the studio through greed and stereotypes. A painful question arises: how long can this continue? And who will ultimately pay the price for this system? After Assassin's Creed 2, after Far Cry 3, after Splinter Cell, money and templates became an increasingly heavy burden. Ubisoft began to focus not on creativity, but on conveyor belts. When the next Assassin's Creed was released, players met the construction of an open world. When an artifact icon appeared here, a chest there, go to the tower, and the map will open. This was not a game, but a fantastic service with pre-prepared dialogues, with duplicated places. Economic templates reached the point of absurdity. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Far Cry 6, each of these games had built-in microtransactions, many of them for single-player play. And it would never occur to you that in a single-player RPG it is worth selling XP boosters, weapons for real money, themed costumes for additional funds. Ubisoft wanted to turn games into stores within the world, where pay for speed becomes part of the gameplay. And they were wrong to think that fans wouldn't notice. They did. After that, scandals began to surface. Ubisoft was in the midst of an internal culture crisis, accusations of harassment and a toxic atmosphere, dismissals of top managers, dismissals of people behind the original ideas of Assassin's Creed. Prince of Persia, Splinter Cell, the base was crumbling, values were forgotten, the magic of success was shaking and eventually collapsed. Then a series of failures began. Skull, Bones is a 10-year development hell with a cloud of schemes and transfers over it. Watch Dogs Legion is a template open world with a plastic face while retaining all the same icons and engines. X-Defiant is a cloned empty shooter without a soul and identity. Prince of Persia Remake is a studio emptiness, visually worse than the original. And Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a legend that has become an internet myth. Ubisoft, once known for experimenting, has turned into a cruel machine. Everything was coded according to a template. Everything was released according to a plan. Everything was for profit. And along with them, the trust of fans died. All these years, their reputation has been fading into a languid whisper. Fans started commenting, Ubisoft games are like fast food filling, cheap, and you feel sick afterwards. This is not hyperbole, this is the experience of players. And if before they were a creative magnet, now they are just corporate product. Many people, including me, would like to think, come on, it's not that bad. Ubisoft is getting back on its feet. They are trying to fix something. After all, there are rumors that they are abandoning NFT, that they are doing so with an eye on criticism. That Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and even The Crew, Motorfest are the first timid signals of awakening. But the problem is not that they are trying. The problem is how. Whether creative decisions are already being managed by game designers and not marketers, whether they will be able to attract authors again and not marketers, and whether such projects will be viewed as investments and not as anti-crisis cases because the industry has already changed. Players are tired of huge uniform open maps. They like rich and unusual worlds, like Larian's in Baldur's Gate 3, From Software's in Elden Ring. They set depth, ideas, atmosphere. They sell meaning. Ubisoft continues to make copyright copies where there are no fewer copies than content. And here is the fatal paradox. If Ubisoft does not start to appreciate their creators, if they do not allow studios like Montpellier, Sofia, Quebec to think originally, then all attempts at a reboot are doomed. Maybe they will still have the resources to meet AAA requirements, but there is no meaning anymore, and without it, even billions in the budget have no value. Nevertheless, I believe in them. I believe that somewhere, under this plastic template, there is a spark. Even in Mirage, I felt potential. Even in Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown there are the beginnings of an author's approach. And if Ubisoft takes the path of respect for their teams, allows risk, allows patience, allows an experimental game, then they have a chance not just to regain trust, but to become who they were again. But to do this, they need to stop being a bank and start being a forge of ideas. Otherwise, the past will be their karmic wallet. No matter how much you put in, you'll take out as much. And this time, they can take out everything.